So because of this effect or this pressure on wages whenever we're away from Y star, like potential output or Y star is almost like an anchor. If we ever get kind of pushed away from this Y star, the effect of these factor prices, whether it's upward pressure on wages if there's an inflationary gap or downward pressure on wages if there's a recessionary gap, that's going to pull us back to this Y star as we just saw. So it's like an anchor. So let's kind of do an example to see what I mean. Let's look at an AD shock. So here's the price level. Here's the real Y. Let's start off at this point of Y star. Here's our AS curve, and here's our AD curve. So right now we're at Y0, where AS and AD meet is right at Y star, and we have this price level P0. Let's say, for example, let's use the same one as before. X0, like X naught goes up. So foreign income goes up, which means our number of exports go up. This is going to cause the AD curve to shift to the right by that change in X0 times the simple multiplier, just connecting some of these ideas. So here's our new AD curve, and it shifts out. This distance here is this change in X0 times the simple multiplier. But we know that this is not a new equilibrium because that's not where AS and AD meet. And so we're going to move to this short run equilibrium, Y1 and P1. So we get to a short run equilibrium, Y1 and P1, and we see this inflationary gap. Right, so here's this inflationary gap that's formed from this positive or expansionary aggregate demand shock. So we start off here, and we're kind of the shock happens, it shifts out this curve, change in X times the simple multiplier. Our equilibrium changes by the multiplier times this change in X0 as opposed to the simple multiplier. And then we see we have this inflationary gap. So then we're going to have this adjustment period. It's going to be adjustment of factor prices. So we have this inflationary gap. Maybe I'll just say unemployment is low, upward pressure on wages, which means this AS curve starts shifting to the left. So we're going to have wages going up, and it's going to keep on going up. Until we're back at this Y star, and we have a higher price level. So we come back this way, and there's another Y. And we come back to a long run equilibrium. Y2 equals Y star. We have a higher price level in this new equilibrium. So we went up from P0 to P1 to P2. But the real Y is the same though. So that's why it's this anchor. So we have these shocks that are pushing us away from this Y star, but this kind of automatic adjustment through these factor prices is pulling us back to Y star. So that's kind of the idea of the business cycle. These shocks that are happening to the world economy are causing our actual Y to fluctuate around this Y star. And so Y star is going to be the really important part in terms of long run growth. So we're always going to get stuck at this one level of real GDP. We're temporarily going to be pushed around it, but it's always going to be termed by this Y star. So if we kind of change this Y star, is how we actually raise real GDP in the long run.